It's the moment we have all been waiting for, F1 sim racing fans all around the world, as we get to the last race of the 2026 World Championship. And Ismail Fassi took the win around Interlagos, the Brazilian Grand Prix, with the help of a teammate, Barry Burman. And here we are then, mounting a title. Is it still available for Ismail Fassi to win his maiden championship, or will Otis Lawrence take it, or could someone else do it? There's so many permutations. I'm Somebody Can, your host, Alex Jakes, Kai Bicini, and Nicola Hume joining me for this one. Change of outfit, Nicola Hume. I like this. Yeah. Ready for the grand finale.
It's a smarter shirt because it feels like a smarter shirt situation.
Very much so. Someone's going to be crowned a champion.
Yeah, it's happening. We're doing it. This is happening right now.
Kai, this is the pointy end time, isn't it? Right now, for one of these drivers.
Are you laughing because the shirt wasn't smart enough?
No, I really like the shirt.
I was just wondering.
What happened to the blazer you promised?
That's coming later on.
Okay.
It's coming later on. For the race. This is quali, my friends.
Is that a promise?
That's a promise.
Quali. As we head to Abu Dhabi, ready for this. We saw the shots and what it means to Ismail Fassi, chatting to him. I mean, he's getting closer to a potential title. It could happen for him.
It's getting scary. It's getting scary for Alpine. It's getting scary for Otis Lawrence. And what can they really do to counter it? Well, we'll have to wait and see. There's still one more race to go. He has that points advantage, 20 points that Otis Lawrence has out in front now. So he does have that little bit of a buffer, but every point counts in the championship. There's 1 point in qualifying, 1 point for fastest lap, and 25 up for grabs in the race.
Yeah, in my opinion, Alex Jakes, you've got the smartest voice out there in
wow.
the commentary box.
That's really
smartest,
nice.
intelligent.
Wow.
You take an approach, you're thorough with it, and we have been treated to some amazing racing.
I thought it was a butt coming.
No, absolutely not. Yeah. What have you made of it, and what drama we've had?
I think it's been absolutely outstanding for the races I've been lucky enough to call this year, in that we've had so many strange occurrences, whether it's a slick tyre gamble in Belgium to set the grid, whether it's a wide open strategy situation like we had in Mexico City. And then Interlagos, amazing teamwork, sensational teamwork. And if you think about all of Ismail Fassi's wins this year, there was contact in Spain. There was a wide open situation with the strategy yesterday. He's had his teammate help him. There are so many sliding doors moments where he wouldn't be a contender for the title. We've got a 2-horse race now. He's very deserving in the mix, and 3 wins in a row. And who knows? Who knows? That's ultimate pressure on Otis Lawrence at that point.
We said to him, we genuinely said to him, Nicola and I were just like, just win. All you got to do is a win. He said, everyone keeps telling me this. It's not as easy as that. We know how difficult it is. But let's remind everybody of that race around Interlagos. So it's always a slow start, it seems to be, with F1 sim racing. Yeah. It built, and then the teamwork from Barry Burman to hold off Otis Lawrence as long as possible. Alternate strategy for both the Ferrari drivers.
Yeah, and Otis Lawrence had to respond to the fact that they knew that Barry Burman, not in contention for the title, was going to be on those fast and medium tyres. It compromised his strategy as a result. It was a little bit rough further back. Freddie Rasmussen making a move on the opening lap. At this point, Otis Lawrence in position to win the championship. And
only 3 drivers selecting the mediums to start on. That was a bit of a shock, Kai.
I think you need to look back and think, was that the right decision for Alpine? They had 1 car on the hards, 1 car on the mediums. I think it was the right decision to split the strategy between the drivers, but was it the right way round? Otis Lawrence really struggling on those hard compound tyres down the end of the race. There was a hand in the air. He wasn't happy with the defence from Barry Burman, but the 2 of them switching positions lap after lap. And in that middle sector, there's nothing Lawrence could do to get past the Scuderia Ferrari. Freddie Rasmussen and his teammate of Jarno Opmeer were both on a great charge through the field. Ismail Fassi wasn't waiting around either, as he was making his way through the field and past Freddie Rasmussen, ultimately ending up in the lead of the race. Danny Berezne, it just wasn't his day. Neither was it the day for Alfie Butcher, all falling down the order as well. Jake Benham involved in that incident a little bit later on.
Yeah, these 2 Ferraris working in tandem. There was a late send from Freddie Rasmussen. Alvaro Carreton having his highest points finish since 2021. And then you had the honour I would say, Nicola, of talking as we're sort of rounding out the last couple of laps here in the race as Jake Benham comes off. Not the day for him, brutally unlucky. It happens though. Nicola, you spoke to Barry and Otis Lawrence, and it was well measured from both of them.
It was one of those that, because I remember sitting with you, Tom, while we were watching the race, and I was like, at this point, I could be speaking to Otis and Barry at the same time, and it could be incredibly awkward. But actually, as soon as it was done, Barry congratulated Ishmael, went straight over to Otis, went, "I'm so sorry, mate, I had to do what I had to do." And then it was a handshake, it was all very polite, and actually it was perfectly fine. And Otis understood, because I'm sure that, if the shoe is on the other foot,
they would have done
Alpine would have done the same thing.
Exactly. Well, I can tell everybody who's joined us now. There have been some developments. Let's look at the race classifications. What's that? There is a twist. There's an absolute twist here. No, Barry Burman handed a 3-second penalty. We are about to discuss that. It will be appealed, I'm sure, from the Scuderia team. But Otis Lawrence finishing second on podium. And Alvaro Carreton, so I just mentioned, he hasn't had a podium since Bahrain 2021. Congratulations to him, and I'm sure he's going to be ecstatic about that. That's your classification. But now, importantly, why? Why has this happened? The penalty's been given for holding up Otis Lawrence, and not necessarily within the rules of the game driving, Kai. What would this come down to?
Well, the official ruling of it was Burman was handed the 3-second penalty for sandbagging. Now, sandbagging as a whole, definition of it in the racing rules is driving a car unnecessarily slowly to a pace that's underneath 98% of the racing pace. Now, on one lap that Barry Burman completed, where he was defending from Otis Lawrence, he was at 96.7% pace of the racing lap. So it's fine margins, but F1 sim racing is always fine margins, and you need to play by the rule book if you want to win a championship. Barry Burman, don't blame him at all. He had to play this game. He had to defend from Otis Lawrence, and he's helped Ferrari out a ton. But the penalty being handed out in doing so, I'm sure Otis Lawrence will feel it was just.
Wow. Discuss, that's what I'm going to say on this one. Nicola, thoughts on this?
Right.
Alex?
Ferrari have put their appeal in, so they have, but we don't know what the outcome of that will be. For me, watching, I do genuinely think, again, if Alpine were in that situation, they would have done the same. That was team racing, that was teamwork at its finest. I know it may seem like sandbagging, but at the same time, you've got to play the game for the team. So what else can you do? He was put in that situation where he had to do that. Is that worth a 3-second penalty? I don't know.
It's defending. Surely that was just defending. 96.7% and 98%.
I think he overdid it. I think he did an amazing job, but I think he overcooked it. And I think in all honesty, I think he'll be quite lucky that he still got a point from that race.
Wow.
I think he could have got a mid-race warning. If you're deliberately taking the second sector as slow as it appeared on the onboard, it shouldn't be noticeable on the onboard that you're trying to back up your competitor. He did a brilliant job. Ultimately, the job was too good, because if he'd stayed the right side of that, if the rule is 98%, Ferrari should have been able to work out the lap time in real time and give him, he's good enough to hit lap times to 100th of a second.
Right plan wasn't executed correctly. That was the thing.
If you stay the right side of 98%, there's no drama. That's what it's in there. But that rule is in there to prevent what we've seen. And yeah, I think it very much flirted with the line live. And then clearly they've had a look at the data. I don't know what Ferrari are appealing. Yeah. They think race controller got the numbers wrong.
They might do.
They might have got the numbers wrong, in which case, if he's not over the empirical line of 98%, there's no case to answer the best teammate on the planet. But if the information is correct and he's done that 96% line, that was too much. And I got to say, at the time, it felt too much. For a driver outside of the championship contention to be messing with a driver battle like that, if Ferrari were in contention for the Constructors' Championship, go mad.
Yeah.
Do what you want to. But yeah, that was...
Too obvious.
It was too borderline, and if it's over the line, then it's a slam dunk penalty.
Okay, well, there you take it. And the good news is we've not got a title decider on our hands now. Oh, wait a minute. We absolutely do. Driver standings, where do we see, based on that penalty given, where do things stand going in to this last quali of the season? Well, there it is. 20 points separate the two drivers at the top. Otis, it was 17 points before that penalty. The 3-second penalty, and wait a minute, 7 points, so there's the difference there. 3. Here we go. What's going to happen now? How does that change the approach for Ferrari? How does it change the approach for Otis?
It's roughly the same. You're in the similar territory, aren't you? Of something has got to go dramatically wrong, either in qualifying or in the opening laps for Otis Lawrence. If Otis Lawrence puts a normal performance in, he's got one hand on the trophy. But we have seen this event him go out in Q2. So I think we talk about nerves, we talk about handling the championship pressure. He will be feeling it right now because these are the hurdles he has to clear. If he's top 10, realistically, he should have enough on the pace that we've seen all year to close it out. But nothing is simple on decider day.
Yesterday, we spoke under the heading of Red Bull woes. Well, there didn't seem to be too many woes from the race around Brazil. As we saw one Aston Martin person dashing across the screen there. We are moments away from going into quali, but the woes seem to have turned around again for Red Bull. It's all about the constructors, the team championship, and Jarno Opmeer doing what Jarno Opmeer does best during the race, taking advantage. Bye! A little wave there.
There was a nice bit, actually, with you on comms, Alex, where you went, oh, hi, Jarno Opmeer.
It's just constant, isn't it? Every single time he tries the strategy, which gives him amazing tyres at the end, and he's flying once again at a latter stage. And I hadn't clocked how far he got, and I was like, oh, hi, Jarno. Thanks for joining the battle.
It's so fun to watch him, Kai, isn't it? Because you know that's what Jarno does. He's a 3-time champ.
He's one of those drivers that no matter where he is in the field, you just can't count him out. We saw that in Mexico, and we've seen it again here. The two Red Bulls both fighting through the field, so vicious in their racecraft. And that's what makes them the two drivers that have scored 1,000 career points. That's what makes them some of the greatest sim racing drivers to ever grace the Formula One game. And that is why Jarno Opmeer and Freddie Rasmussen are fighting the team's battle by themselves.
Yeah, and the thing is, yes, they've both got 17 wins, but wins aren't necessarily what they're looking for now. It's about two drivers maximising the amount of points they can gather. And in the last race, look at that, 2 points, Nicola, separates Alpine for a historic first ever win, and Oracle Red Bull Racing could have 4 under their name.
This now puts pressure on Danny Berezny, who is not having a good day today. I know it's his birthday, but he didn't have a good race in Brazil. He didn't have a good quali. And I think he really needs to get his head together for this race, purely for the constructors, because otherwise you're going to have both Red Bulls up there. You are, aren't you? Because, I mean, it's Abu Dhabi. We know they're going to do well.
Yeah.
And they're both going to be up there. So Danny needs to be up there with Otis to help get those constructors' points today.
Heard it here first. There's a load of pressure being piled on him there from Nicola.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, no, it's absolutely fine. Abu Dhabi we go to, quite right though, but that's what everyone's thinking. And as we know, Nicola, you asked the difficult questions of the drivers. Last year, take you back for a second, 2025, Otis Lawrence crossing the line, his first ever win in F1 sim racing, becoming the youngest driver ever to win. And it's such a great circuit to go racing. Overtaking difficult then, here, would you say, JC? Not necessarily in F1 sim racing, so quali is all important.
It is important. It is going to be possible to pass around this circuit. We were hearing from the drivers earlier. Just had flashbacks to how we finished last year's season. I'm not thinking, what are we going to get today? Because it got fairly spicy involving Thomas Ronhal 1 year ago. I wonder if we'll get the same thing once again. It was a championship battle that meant we didn't really focus on Otis a year ago, even though he was in contention and winning once again. So, yeah, it's an epic venue. You can overtake. That's one of the overtaking opportunities into 6, into 9 as well. But as you say, Tom, qualifying is crucial, mainly for how high the task is going to be for Otis Lawrence. Is he going to be having to move from 7th on the grid, or is he going to be in a strategic game in the first 2 rows, which will be his aim?
Otis Lawrence winning last year. Then we had Alfie Butcher the year before that, cementing his name, the Haas driver at the time, saying, hello, sign me up, please. He did just that, moved across to McLaren. Freddie Rasmussen the year before that, Danny Beresne back in 2018. So he's got form around here, just helping him with his pressure that's been piled on him by Nicola.
You're welcome.
But we thought the truth, and Josh Ido back there, 2022, with a pole position. Thomas Ronhaar, you mentioned there that the mayhem that was caused, he dropped back 16 places in that race last year. It started on pole.
Win it or bin it, and sadly it was the second one.
Out of those drivers that you saw on the screen, any particular drivers who might unsettle the apple cart a little bit right now, Kai?
Well, I had him tipped for qualifying for Sao Paulo. Alfie Butcher has to be a name that stand out to you. He's got that race win in 24 and then also had that podium in 25. So clearly has a good track record around the circuit. We know he's got the pace. We know he can put in the performance that we saw in Mexico in the first race of this event. So why not in Abu Dhabi? Let's round out the season with a bang.
You love positivity.
Yes.
Okay, and is there any driver that you would like to give a little bit of positivity to right now, Nicola, that needs a little bit? For me personally, Jake Benham, please. Give the guy one of the best drives he had in the last race. I want a little bit towards him and a little bit of luck, because you can make your own luck and fortune, but sometimes you just have to see what happens.
That spin in Brazil, I was just so gutted for him. And let's throw some positive energy his way, because I feel like he does need it today.
Any other driver to shine a little light on? We know the championship is still anyone's to grab, but those drivers, I mean, that have an opportunity. I'm seeing Duncan Hofland's back in there. We haven't talked about drivers that have come in and out. He's on the back of 2 back-to-back fourth-place finishes.
Yeah, absolutely superb.
And Pookie's back in as well for Williams. I feel like we're going to do this. I'm going to keep seeing drivers on the screen jump in.
Yeah, I like. So we got driver changes. But again, it's all entirely planned. It's all with a huge amount of practice. I think it would be absolutely classic F1 sim racing if Barry Burman, having been given a penalty for going too slowly, puts it on pole. So I think that would be absolutely typical. We've seen so many occurrences like that. It's such a shame he had to miss the opening rounds of the year, isn't it? Because I think he would have been in the mix as well for the driver's title.
Reconnaissance laps here was just smashing up things right there.
Yeah,
why not
Trash it. Here we go.
What am I witnessing?
It's final night. Let's tear this place apart. This
Under
is
the
the real
light.
cushion.
It's under the lights. Yoni Tomala stays in. Tom Manley out. Ulish Izilzram back in. Good to see him. He would like to end the season with a bang because you've already mentioned it. Jake C, he might even be in the shop window. Get that man to sign on the dotted line.
Yeah, for every race next year. He's had an Otis Lawrence style season this year. Otis Lawrence had a breakthrough last year. October Rim is a contender that all the big hitters are going to want in their car every race. Definite championship bid loading for next year, I think, on the evidence of his overall pace. Yes, get rid of that.
There's the MSC.
Yeah, both of them.
There we go.
We don't like these signs. Get rid of those signs.
Why not? Do you think that's a little bit of fun? I would love to have seen his face afterwards. What was Otis doing there?
Yeah.
Because we did.
Well, I hope it's a bit of fun. Otherwise, he's really feeling the pressure, isn't he?
But just leave that pause for a second as we absorb that for a moment. No, he seems fun. Look at him.
He's having fun.
Why not? Who can blame him? He could be picking up his maiden title. A driver might be feeling a little bit irked by it. He was into Q3, just couldn't get it done, was Nico Longe, Kai. And a Williams team in general, they bring back Istvan Pukki after Alvaro Carreton has his first podium since 2021. But as Jakesy said, it's all planned well in advance that they're going to make that swap. Team Williams, what can they possibly do? They're chasing, hunting down Ferrari. Now is the time for them. A little bit of pressure on the Williams guys to maximise points coming into this race. Would you not say?
Yeah, there is a little bit of a margin there between the Williams and Ferrari team. 34 points is currently what's separating the two of them. So Ferrari, in a nutshell, would have to have a dreadful race and Williams would have to have an amazing race if they wanted any of that to switch around. But Longe is just trying everything he can to get the best results possible. He's got his family all here, all supporting him. He's got his brother Matteo, who was as well a very competent sim driver on the Formula One games. So has all the support here for this final event. Let's see what he's able to do in the last race as well. Not the only one taking out brake marker boards is Otis Lawrence. We're just doing a bit of landscaping here.
Yanni Tormiller. Look at him! Look at him!
Yes.
Do you know what? I feel like with Yanni, and just to shine a light on, we use the phrase OG a lot because he's been in sim racing since the beginning.
as well.
Yeah, we do. We should do
all the time.
I've been there since the beginning.
Day dot.
That's actually made me feel a bit quite emotional. I'm one of the OGs. I love that.
Yeah.
Yanni Tormiller.
Tormiller.
What a guy. Been around. Great vibes that he brings. Such an experienced driver. Might not be the #1 driver, but to come in and to show that experience. I'm even going to start talking about it next year. Will he be back? Will someone like Yanni Tormiller be back? Will a team want to use his experience? And there's so many up-and-coming young drivers coming through the mix. It's nice to see the older drivers still sticking around and showing them what they've got.
Classic name. He's been such a reliable performer for such a long time. And he'll be hoping to end his season on a high.
Good. And he's taken out the brake signs already.
Good.
Good.
I want to see it constantly.
Yeah, literally telling the world, I'm not
Get
slowing
that
down.
bridge down.
I am not slowing down. But this is great. All right, I'll do it now, as we've got 13 minutes in Q1 to go. Who do you think is going to be putting it on pole? It means nothing. I've already said, and I've said to everybody, I'm not picking anyone because I'm an absolute jinx. The OG jinx, that's what they call me.
Yeah.
I feel like you should pick one.
Yeah.
I feel like you should go first because you're always looking at me to go first.
Oh, I do apologise on this one.
Wow.
Okay, raise of the glasses
Got
there.
a presenter off.
Okay. All right. I feel like I'm not going to take Kai's pick of this.
No, take Kai's.
Do you know what? No, I reckon Freddie Rasmussen.
No,
it's good
because he was going to say
It's good
Alpha.
fun. He blurts out the stats in the office, and then one of us says it first.
Yeah, that's true. That's how we play the game, yeah.
Freddie Rasmussen. Come off the hour, come off the man. Here it is. Freddie Rasmussen.
Another OG.
Another OG in the game. Over 1,000 points. But don't worry, next to him in the rig, he's got another 1,000-point driver in Yanni Watman. So I'm going to say Freddie Rasmussen for this one.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm going Otis.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Why not?
How can you go against the man who's currently at the
It
top
just
of the
makes
driver
sense,
standing?
doesn't it? Yeah.
It does.
And the fact in event 3, just 3 pole positions, or event 2, I forget now.
Event 2.
Event 2,
Yeah.
good. Thank you, Nicola. What about yourself, Kai?
Just to make the championship spicy, Ismail Fassi. Let's see
Kai.
him take the win. It'll make it close. It'll make it interesting.
Wow.
It'll make it interesting.
What an incredible way to round out the 2026 season with 3 back-to-back wins for Ismail Fassi. Could happen. What about yourself, JC?
Going for Barry. I want the narrative.
Yeah.
From slow
to fast. Can't wait.
This is fun.
Yeah.
a lot of fun. How do you feel? We don't shine a light enough on them. Is the team engineers, the race engineers that are working with the drivers, just doing the driver walkout earlier, giving them a name check. There's a lot of pressure on their shoulders right now because as we see those team standings, the $750,000 prize pool, just in the background there, for Ferrari, you can see Jonah and Oscar, sort of, they're having fun, aren't they?
Yeah. I thought Thomas Ronhart was going to clear the barrier there. Using the sausage cut. Wow.
But a lot of pressure on their shoulders. And as
Sorry, you asked it actually an important question. Yeah.
as we build, these laps mean nothing. These are just reconnaissance ones. They're building up here. Pressure on the race engineers to make the right call at the right time. When we saw earlier in Brazil, only 3 of the drivers going out to start on the mediums. You know, they're being questioned of like, what are we going to do here?
Yeah. No, the teams have put in an enormous amount of hours as well, and the engineers live it with the drivers. So good on everyone who's contributed to this championship this year. And right now, it's party time.
It is.
We're seeing all the tricks out there.
Okay, a name that we've mentioned a few times. He was not happy about having a race result that didn't go to plan in Mexico. He started in pole with Azuljan. How would he be hoping to come back? And he's been rapid.
Yeah. Well, I expect him to be a contender. I expect him to be in Q3, and it happens occasionally. You get sucked into a strategy that turns out to be an absolute dud. It breaks someone's heart, doesn't it? Every year at some point. It's all the more galling when you've put it on pole and that happens to you. But a lesson learned, and they won't make that mistake again.
He's fast, but he does pick up penalties. That's one of the things that put next to Ulas's name. If he cleans that up, is there an opportunity that he could be one of the contenders maybe for next year?
if he cleans that up, he'll be a dangerous threat on the circuit. Not in the penalty sense. Not
Got
in
you,
the penalty sense. Let's just get that off the table. Not in the penalty sense. Pace-wise, he's a very competent driver. We've seen that he's able to pick up the results. If he's able to clean that slate, get the penalties off the record, and clean up his driving, consistently getting those results, I don't see why not.
Fair enough. Dark horses coming into this race. Can Haas do it? And I'm asking you, Nicola, because you're full of positivity, and I always bang the drum for those guys, Thomas Gal
I know you
and
do.
Joris Krozen.
I mean, I've spoken to the Haas boys before, and they're very tricky to understand and to read, if I'm honest with you. I mean, we try and sort of have good chats with all the drivers, but for them, you know, they're quite serious guys. But let's not underestimate what they can achieve, Tom. I mean, I think, you know, your eyes are always on Haas. You're staying hopeful.
I know.
Do you want to throw some positivity their way as well? Yeah, let's do it. Let's just do it.
You know, the underdogs. Q3. If one of the drivers go through, I will punch the air with delight. Because
you run back on and do that moment if they're reached.
you know I'll be out of vision.
Although, if you could find out whether Ferrari's appeal is successful or not, would be terrific to know the gap in the Drivers' Championship before we went racing.
That would be handy, yes.
Good luck for that moment if it does happen. Stay tuned for that one. OK, we've mentioned him already. He is the birthday boy, not the result he wanted in the last race earlier on today around Interlagos. Danny Berezny, we know what he has to do. He's got the extra pressure, A, to help his teammate cement that first Drivers' Championship, but also for himself. What can he do? He wasn't happy with it on the team radio. We heard that earlier on. The strategy, it didn't go to plan, but he's just such a calm, cool-headed guy that knows how to drive in this competition, and he's won here before.
He's always smiling, which is a perk, even when things don't go his way, like they did in qualifying in Brazil. They didn't go his way, but he's still smiling. But I do think this now does come down to him when it comes down to constructors. We know that Otis will very likely be up there and get those points, but there is a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and I'm really, really hoping, for his sake, for his birthday as well, that he'll be able to keep it together to get those points in. And I hope that he can just put Brazil out of his head, get that done. It's done, it's in the past, and now just focus on Abu Dhabi.
When it becomes such a grand moment that can be for your teammates and you're tested, sometimes it brings the best out in drivers. You know, it was the penultimate race. Well, it doesn't matter because this isn't the last race. Now it's the last race. I think potentially we could see the best of Danny Berezny.
He will just try and get that car in Q3, and if the car is in Q3, as his teammate was saying, his race pace is excellent. If you get mired in the mid-pack with a field this talented, there's going to be very little you can do other than go extreme on the strategy for a couple of laps benefit. But ultimately, come the end of the year, everyone understands things, everyone's working brilliantly together. There's just not going to be that much variation. We're not expecting massive deg like you would get at a Mexico City. So as a result, got to get this right. This is the crucial hour for so many drivers.
It is so important, quali, around here. For Q1, with 6 minutes still on the clock, Alex Jakes, Cabagini, for the last time in 2026.
Well, you're going to leave us with 6 minutes to go?
Enjoy quali. Well, no, these laps are so important. These flying laps. I mean, yeah, straight away, timers are being set on the board. This is your bread and butter.
Yeah. Go on, then.
All right, then.
6 minutes to go on Decider Day. Osilderen back in the car and back to the top of the pile. We have had drama, we have had team tactics, we have had a Ferrari masterclass on how to orchestrate a race. Ismail Fassi looking for 3 victories in a row to give himself a chance of the title. We've had post-race penalties. We've now got Otis Lawrence at the head of the field by 17 points in the team championship. 2 points between Red Bull and a repeat of a repeat of a repeat. And for Alpine would be their breakthrough, would be the first time they'd lifted the largest trophy. And 3 to fall, you absolutely don't want to give yourself any drama at all. That's a good lap time from Ismail Fassi. Here's Jarno Opmeer. Predicted earlier on, Kai, that he was going to be better around here than he was in Interlagos. And he comes over the line and puts the time P13 early on.
Yeah, we've had a little bit of everything, haven't we, Alex, in this final round. You couldn't have asked for anything better in the final event of F1 sim racing. Although you may not be in contention for the championship, although drivers may not be in contention for the team's championship, everyone wants to end on a high. So everyone's going to be giving it their all here at the Yas Marina circuit. And what better venue to round out the championship at?
Yeah, absolutely. And it provided us with so much drama 1 year ago. Ismail Fassi, who we haven't really said it very much. He's the runner-up last year.
Yeah.
He was in contention. It was Ron Har versus Otmir that we were focusing on, but the fact he got that Williams within 25 points of contention at the end of the year, it's a breakthrough year for driver and team. He did brilliantly, Ismail Fassi, won some epic races and gave himself a great chance. It has been an extraordinary journey to be the contender once again. We wondered whether it was Jarno Otmir. His event 3 cost him enormously. We wondered whether it would then be the ever-reliable Freddie Rasmussen. Ismail Fassi trying to turn this year into a winning year. At the bottom 3, we've got Jake Benham, we've got Joris Krozen, we've got Tico Hardy in the Mercedes, who continues in that seat to see out the season. Ron Har, his teammate, is currently 3rd fastest, and Otis Lawrence has retired from the session. He is happy with his 4th place effort.
Does Otis Lawrence feel the eyes on him? Does he feel the pressure? Does he feel everything winding up to this moment? Well, only time's going to tell on that one, but he feels he's done enough to make it through to Q2. This may be, if not the most important qualifying session of the season for him, the most important qualifying session of his life. This is for the championship. This is the big one. Although it's only his 2nd season in F1 sim racing, Otis Lawrence, at the beginning of the season, said to us all, he said, this is the season. I feel good. I've been competing up at a high level, and this is what I feel I can do. I feel I can win this.
Let's hear from the man who is currently in 9th position. Danny Beresne has been talking to his team on the radio. Let's listen in now.
I was quite happy with the lap, and it's just not good enough, man. Crazy.
Danny Beresne coming over the line and thinking, you know what, that's decent, that's tidy, and then seeing where he is. Nothing wrong with being P9 at the moment, but it just shows you the lofty level that we've got in sim racing at the very, very start of the session, and he's felt the need to go again at the end of Q1.
I don't blame him. P9, never a safe position, especially with how tight this field is, but Danny Beresne, it just really has been an off day for him. It hasn't been the races he would have been hoping for. And Otis Lawrence as well. It's not the races that he would have been hoping for from Danny Beresne. He would have been hoping in Interlagos that Beresne was able to help him out, play the team game. We saw how important it was for Ferrari. If Alpine were able to match that level of teamwork and match that level of pace from both drivers, then maybe the championship would have been wrapped up already.
Yeah. Ifs and buts at the end of the year, and everyone looks at the moments that slip through their fingers. There are so many drivers who could have played things differently. I mean, when you're reigning champion, barely scores any points in event 3, it just shows you how even the very, very best can struggle for form and performance. It's been a really varied season with some landmark moments. El Zolderim getting his breakthrough win, and Ismail Fassi winning a thriller. His home event in Barcelona. It's Danny Beresne that we're on board with. So needs an improvement, but he's not under huge pressure here because he does still have quite a few drivers behind seeking the same thing. Goes from 9th place. It's about a 1/10 of a second. Let's have a look. He goes over the line. It is less than that. It's 900. So he's got to find an improvement, but he's not got as much work to do as, say, a Jarno Otmir or a Duncan Hofland, who is looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, both those drivers need to be careful. Hofland was caught out earlier in this season by not getting that lap in when he needed, getting an invalidated lap on his final tour of the circuit. That's what found him knocked out in Q1. Beresne already finds a small improvement in Sector 1, so that'll be a small confidence booster as he makes his way into the 2nd sector now. You have a lot of heavy braking zones through the 2nd sector around this 4.28-kilometre circuit. It's the ultimate test of the driver. You have your fast-flowing corners. You have your heavy braking zones where you need to pick out your braking spot, which isn't easy when drivers have been going around and taking out the brake marker boards as well. Picks it out hard on the brake pedal. What else would you expect from Danny Beresne? Up 0.5 with a purple Sector 2. it's looking strong for the Alpine driver. He was content with his last lap, but he's found improvements across the board. And if he's able to do that throughout maybe the third sector, he can find a little bit more. Up a tenth now as he tours his way to the line. 2 tenths, yes, off Ismail Fassi, but as he rounds the final corner and is about to cut the timing beam, he jumps up to P3. That's the Danny Beresnay that we know and love. Welcome back to Danny Beresnay. He's in the top 3 for now and safe into Q2.
Joni Tourmala is the next driver that we are focusing on, currently in 12th position. We're going to lose the 3 slowest drivers at the end of this one. Tourmala goes up to 10th position. It's Benham, Crozen and Hardy in the drop zone at the moment. Here's Thomas Gal, and Thomas Gal stays in 11th place for the moment. Here's his teammate, Joris Crozen. Well, he's asked a question of Duncan Hofland. Hofland responds immediately. Hofland responds absolutely immediately. Jake Benham still in the drop zone. Pookie back in the Williams for this one. He's in 10th position. Over the line we go with Hardy, who's unable to get out of that part of the session. And we are waiting to see then. And over the line we go. Ruben Pedreno in 13th position. Jake Benham, and he finds his way through. Needed a lap and got the lap time done. Jake Benham up to P12. It's Hofland, Crozen and Hardy who fall at the first hurdle. And man, did Jake Benham need that. He's had some rough luck across this season. He got spun in the last race, but he's through into the second part of qualifying, including all of our major contenders. Hofland, Crozen and Hardy are out. We still have our top 2 in the Constructors' Battle and our top 2 in the Drivers' Battle. They will take part in the next stage of qualifying.
Opmeer through by 12 thousandths of a second. Let's watch on board here with Jarno Opmeer. He really struggled in this session. This was on his final lap where he wasn't even up on his time, but just a small error, and that's an invalidation. That's all it takes to find yourself out of a quali session. And Jarno Opmeer, he can wipe the sweat off his forehead there. He's just about scraped through into Q2. Needs to reset that mindset and give it one more go in Q2 to try and find himself in Q3. All the points are important for the driver standings and the team standings in the case of Red Bull. 2 points separating them and Alpine.
Hardy out as well. Disappointing for him, but he'll have a chance to go again. Not by much, 300ths of a second. Then Joris Crozen, 200ths of a second. Hofland getting close, 12 thousandths in the end. Not a lot, but enough to knock him out in the first part of qualifying after the giddy heights of 4th place. Chasing a podium would have been his first one in the championship. Unable to secure it. And the debrief continues then at Aston Martin as a result. Hardy, Crozen, Hofland went. Jarno Opmeer was on the brink, but safe by 100th. And he continues on, the driver who finished in 15th place. Joni Tourmala having fun, giving us a wave. Always great to see. And Joni Tourmala trying to produce another great day in a season of great days for Racing Bulls. They've had pole positions and they've had a 1-2, memorable 1-2 at Spa earlier this year. It was a 1-2 earlier on for Ferrari, but it was a 3-second penalty for Barry Boromant. The team have appealed that. Hopefully we'll get word to you as soon as that appeal has been heard from the previous race. But they're both safely through and both going to be big hitting contenders as we move our way through into Q2.
That penalty in the race from Barry Boromant, although it detriments his race, he's always said that it's all the team game now. Yeah. It's focusing on trying to help Ismail Fassi. Although he's got that 3-second penalty and that's hurt his race, yeah. I think it was a worthy sacrifice. Although it was a slam dunk penalty in my eyes, yeah. Especially if the data is correct from the race control side, I think Barry Boromant is not upset with that 3-second penalty. He's done what needed to be done, and he's managed to get Ismail Fassi the race win, making the championship go to this final race. Yeah, and from what we understand, it wasn't all the way through. It was one occurrence that went just the wrong side of the line, so nearly judged to perfection. And as he played the team game, they're trying to get themselves into that P3 position, and they're just trying to win races at the end of the year, aren't they? And rattle off the win. They've got the last 2. If they make it 3, big questions will be asked of Otis Lawrence, who's been our championship leader for a while now, and his teammate is out on the circuit, Danny Beresnay.
the birthday boy, speaking to us earlier on. He will hope that he's not speaking to us until the end of the session, because he does not want a Q2 exit. Alfie Butcher seemed a much better driver in this final event, much happier driver, I should say. And he is trying to rediscover the form that he's had around this track in the past.
Yeah, and I don't see why he shouldn't be able to. Drivers have been able to replicate form over and over again. We saw that with Barry Borromond in Zandvoort, where he was able to jump onto the track and put out a stellar performance, may I say, from Borromond to take home that race victory in Zandvoort. A couple of bollards nearly taking a hit in, but the ghosting factor in qualifying just about saving them from the Scarlet Red Ferrari. This is Freddie Rasmussen, who's preparing himself for his first lap of the session. Obviously a shorter Q2 than the Q3 session, 15 minutes, 13 minutes remaining on the clock. One of the bollards getting departed to the side of the circuit, but we'll get ready for drivers' first banker laps.
Yeah, banker lap's about to come in now. Ismail Fassi, brilliant couple of campaigns for him. As we go through the brake marker board. Another one absolutely detonated at the start of this session. Fassi making his way through. We're in the early stages of Q2, so no one's sweating it too hard at the moment, as they get their eyes in and they get themselves prepared for the high-pressure moment that is coming. Q1, you would be surprised if one of the main contenders went at that stage of the session. Q2 has been a risk all season long. We've seen major names falling at this second hurdle. Consequential laps coming in the next couple of moments.
You say that, Alex, but it was only one round to go where we saw Otis Lawrence depart from Q1. Well, he's made his way through to Q2 now, but very importantly, he needs to make his way into Q3 and inside the top 10, or else it's going to be a very scary Abu Dhabi Grand Prix for Otis Lawrence. If Ismail Fassi walks away with the race victory, Otis Lawrence needs to finish in the top 7 if the 20-point gap stands. Obviously, that is all dependent on the Ferrari appeal that's out right now, because if Ferrari get that appeal overturned, then it's a 17-point gap. If not, it's a 20-point gap between Otis Lawrence and Ismail Fassi. Fastest lap and pole position lap also are going to be a point each, so those are factors that you need to take in. So dream day for Ismail Fassi. He's able to put it on pole position right now, take it down to a 19-point gap and strike some fear into the heart of Otis Lawrence.
Yeah, that's the aim at this stage. We're just cycling through the time at the moment. No one's bothering themselves too much with what's being set on the timing page. Yeah, big moment in Q2 yesterday when Otis Lawrence needed a final run, couldn't find it. He struggled with one particular corner. Got to say, we have seen an invalidation for Jarno Opmeer under the hotel, that section, where that is the risky part, isn't it? That stage. But realistically, there's not a high-speed corner like that that's going to cause you the same drama around here. That Q2 exit absolutely defining for what we saw in Mexico City. It was teamwork for Ferrari in Sao Paulo. What will the headline be as we crown our team and driver champions at the end of the year? Thomas Ronhard, desperate not to see out the season without a victory. He knows he's got form around here. He knows he's got podium finishes around here. And he knows that he will be expecting a top 5 performance. Got to do the business in Q2 and book your place in the top 10 shootout. Here we go again. Nice and wide. And
nice
it's not by much.
Again.
Not by much, but enough to invalidate the lap, and goodbye. So the drivers testing the lines. This is Tamascal by the looks of things, heading into the first turn. Same corner again on exit, understeer, wide, goodbye to the lap.
I was going to think, when you were talking about the Achilles heels of the circuits, we had turn 7 at Mexico, we had turns 3 and 4 at Sao Paulo, and I was going to say, if it's going to be any corner here at Abu Dhabi, it will be turn 1, because that corner, it's very open on the entry and it cuts tight very, very quickly. It closes off more than you would expect on the exit. None of the drivers really sweating a lap time right now. But the scary thing is, Alex, if we were to jump on these simulators now, we would still be nowhere near these banker laps.
We would be miles off. And you really have to tip your hat to everyone who's been involved in this championship. The standard that they set is through hours of dedication. Hours upon hours of dedication. of running the practice before we get it, honing the setup, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work, making sure that average tracks become good ones, making sure that good tracks become great ones. This is a whole endeavor to get in that arena, to get in that rig and be signed by a team affiliated to this great championship that has been going since 2017, and it continues on. We're going to have a new champion today in the Drivers' Championship, which is an amazing thing that we're going to look forward to, and some special names that they're about to join. It's great that we've got Brendan Lee here as well, who will offer immediate congratulations. The driver who around here in 2017 started this great story. So now it is time for us to get to the consequential part of Q2. A couple of runs coming the way of the field now. Freddie Rasmussen's set a banker, but realistically we haven't seen anything representative. As we go down to what used to be turn 11, what is now turn 9, the heavy braking zone, and a very long radius corner where it's easy to gain time, easy to lose time, and on the opening lap later on. Brilliant moments of brinkmanship for the drivers, especially if you're trying to send it around the outside. Then the fast sections disappear. You're hauling on the anchors here. This is lock-up central to make our way around one of the marinas at Yas Marina Circuit. Then under the hotel where Jarno Opmeer invalidated his lap. And then it's make sure you've got the compliance from the rear end, because the Armco is close there, as we all know from fairly recent history. And then last corner on the racetrack, don't go too wide. No invalidation required there. And turn 1 is the crucial one, right on the edge. And then it's the exit that we see a lot of invalidations, as we've already shown you replays of. Otis Lawrence, championship leader. It's about to go through the ringer in the next couple of hours as he tries to achieve his dream and become our youngest ever Drivers' Champion.
It's not an easy position to be in at all, especially at only 18 years of age. His maturity is well beyond his age on the circuit and off the circuit. A very likeable character throughout the whole paddock here in F1 Sim Racing. Everyone loves Otis off the circuit. Such a nice guy and very deserved of being in this championship battle. He puts in the hours, puts in the dedication, balancing school alongside it as well. I mean, if that's not a feat in itself, then I don't know what is. But being up at the sharp end of the field, Otis Lawrence has sprung a surprise on all of us. We knew he was going to be quick this season. We didn't know that he was going to be a championship contender, and he's proving why corner by corner through the technical sections he goes, each sector around this Yas Marina circuit with each unique profile. And rounding the final couple of ends, Otis Lawrence comes round to set his first banker lap of the session. What is it? It's a 121.008. Teammate of Danny Beresnay, just shy of 4/10 short, and Joni Tormela in the sister team of Racing Bulls. Sideways out the corner is Tamas Gal, but it's still enough for third position. Racing Bulls, Ulas Oziodrim. He has the pace, he has the grit, and he has the determination. He tops the timing order for now.
Nicholas Longay, the Williams driver, is in 8th position. Ismail Fassi, our second contender for the title, goes over the line and goes into 4th. He's 0.03 of a second ahead of Barry Burman. El Zerdarem finds himself top of the pile. Freddie Rasmussen in second, and it's Alfie Butcher, Fassi, Burman, Lawrence, and Pookie. Jarno Opmeer is next. Our outgoing champion, 3 times a champion, superb driver who's provided us with so many great moments across the course of the season, and he goes over the line. He's got work to do after that lap puts him P10 on the brink.
Close one. It's a close one indeed. Danny Beresnay desperately needs an improvement. He's down in 15th in the order right now, so not enough to get himself through to Q3, and Alpine will be hoping, they'll be begging for 2 cars to make it through to Q3. It will be life so much easier for the team's constructors, and it will make life so much easier as well for Otis Lawrence for his Drivers' Championship. If Alpine were able to do the double, it would be a big upset in the team standings. Everyone expected Red Bull to be the favourites. Everyone expected Red Bull to be unbeatable this season with their driver lineup. Alpine said, hold on, we've got a fresh set of eyes, we've got some fresh talent, and we've got great camaraderie within us, and that's all it takes to be competitive up at the front end. Peeling off into the pit lane, Bereznej will get himself prepared for the final run of this session. He said he was content with his lap earlier on in this qualifying and it just wasn't good enough. But will it be good enough for Q3? One more lap will tell.
Okay, let's check in with Danny Bereznej. Earlier on in the session, we can hear his team radio. He did not find the time he was looking for.
It's crazy how much I'm overdriving to be fast.
How much do you five?
Just find your rhythm, find your groove. No pressure, remember?
Yeah, well, that's 8:39 too.
Yeah, well, I don't feel any. I'm just slow.
Well, then stop overdriving and you'll find pace.
That's great. They've got a smile on their face when they're discussing it. Yeah, he's just chasing the ultimate benchmark out there and doesn't appear to have it at the moment. So needs a lap. This is defining. Needs a lap. There's only 2 points in the championship and they're limited with what they can change at this stage. But in their quest to topple Red Bull, big lap coming his way.
Well, if you were wondering how detailed and how precise the communications were between the teams, well, the words were, stop overdriving and you won't be slow. I don't think you need any more technical advice from your race engineers. Danny Bereznej clearly said he's not feeling the pressure, just not able to find the pace. But he still has another opportunity to do so. That man right there, Freddie Rasmussen, is not too worried about finding the pace, currently second in the order. I would be very surprised if he is in any contention of being knocked out of Q2 here. Back out on the circuit we go with Danny Bereznej. We'll be keeping an eye here on the second Alpine driver. Otis Lawrence also makes his way out as he doesn't feel safe in seventh.
Otis Lawrence just looking to get through this session. 2-minute warning coming your way at the top of the graphic there. And he's just running slow pace round on the soft tyres. And then it will be time to unleash the speed. Everyone else joining now. And everyone has felt the need to go again, which is a fun little quirk at this stage of the session. In the drop zone, we've got Jake Benham, we've got Ruben Pedreno, who's had some great days with podium finishes so far this year. And also looking for a lap time, Joni Tormala, Nicholas Longe, and Danny Bereznej, who we've spoken about. Everyone slowly coaxing their cars around the circuit, and then they want the track at its best, which should be at the end of the session.
This is the type of pace that I'd be comfortable at driving around these circuits. Maybe I could actually put some competition up if they were driving at this pace. However, once they go full blast on their actual push laps, there is no competition indeed. However, on the field, there is a lot of competition. Danny Bereznej currently half a second off the lap time that Ulas Oziodrim has placed as the benchmark. He'll cut the timing beam and make his way down to the first corner. Every corner counts. Every thousandth counts and every millimetre counts here for Danny Bereznej. He made his way through one there here. Now through the S's of 2 and 3 where he's flat. It'll be harsh on the brakes, coasting down the gears, down into third, 100 kilometres an hour as he hits the apex. Purple sector 1. It's a great start to the lap here from Bereznej. Now he opens the DRS and it's all eyes on the braking zone. Pick it out here for turn 6. It'll be 8th gear, 330 kilometres an hour as he makes the braking zone, flicks it in, hits his apex, hits his marks and makes his way through the chicane now. What's it looking like on the exit of Sector 2? Through the second DRS zone he goes, pinned to the inside white lines, not leaving anything up for grabs on the circuit. It's a 1.5 improvement through the second sector. Bereznej is looking up to knit this one nicely.
I tell you what, that's about what he needs, because I think there's going to be improvements around that margin. I think he needs to get to exactly 1.5 tenths to be certain that this lap is good enough, but he has found an answer to the overdriving, trusting in his abilities, and he's long-standing in this championship, making the final corner as wide as possible, and Danny Bereznej comes over the line, and Danny Bereznej finds a time good enough for 4th. What a superb effort with the pressure on. And you can see how much Otis Lawrence is gaining. That's going to be an improvement across the line, and Otis Lawrence slots in, but it shows you Danny Bereznej delivering when he needed to there. Nicholas Longe not going to make Q3. Disappointment for him as we come over the line. Thomas Gao is going to fall at this hurdle as well. Otmir's down there, Benham's down there. Butcher finds himself currently in 6th place, and he will remain in that position. So Gao is out. Here's Ismail Fassi, gets up to 4th. Both of our drivers, title contenders, safely through. Benham gets to 11th and misses out. Yoni Tormala is in 10th at the moment. Benham out, Gao out. Where is Ruben Pedreno going to go? Oh, it's a time good enough for 9th. Over to Jarno Otmir. Otmir across the line. And Otmir fights at the last, but he can only get to 13th. And it is Yoni Tormala, Jake Benham, Jarno Otmir, Thomas Gao, and Nicholas Longue. The session topped by Ulash Zelderem. Freddie Rasmussen was in 2nd place. Otis Lawrence in 3rd. Right behind him, he's contender for the title with an identical lap time in that session. How about that? Otis Lawrence, Ismail Fassi, 3rd and 4th. Ron Ha in the mix as well in 5th, and it's Beresne. Big lap under pressure. Big lap for his Alpine team, who he's loved driving for all year. Means that we are going to, against all expectations, it looked like one Alpine was heading out. We've got 2 Alpines in the top 10. Jarno Otmir, our 3-time champ, is out in the 2nd stage of qualifying. Look at the margins there. 500ths, 400ths, and 200ths of a second being the difference. Tormala, Benham, Otmir, Gao, and Longue are eliminated. Our top 10 for the final pole position of the year. Ozilderim, Rasmussen, Lawrence, Fassi, Ronha, Beresne, Butcher, Burmond, Pedreno, big lap when it counted, and Pookie in the Williams.
Yeah, great job there from Danny Beresne. Under all the pressure, under the spotlights, got the lap in when he needed it. It really hasn't been his event, but a little bit of a silver lining there as he's able to make it through into Q3 and support his teammate of Otis Lawrence. Otis Lawrence just having a little bit of a chit-chat in between the qualifying sessions. Why not? Big smile on his face. No matter the outcome, surely Otis Lawrence has to be proud of his performance this season. Let's ride on board here with Jarno Otmir, as this was his final lap in qualifying, and this might be why he didn't make it through into the 3rd qualifying session. Oh, a little bit of a missed apex there out of the final corner. You could see the Delta tumble. He wasn't able to get to that inside apex, maybe a little bit wide, getting it beached on the rumble strip on the entry to the corner. And that's a small mistake, but pays a big price, does Jarno Otmir.
He does. He's going to give everyone a headache, though, because he's in the middle of the pack. We know he absolutely loves
A fight through the field.
an alternative strategy with a fight through the field late on. So that is going to cause headaches for the other teams at the moment, though. It's going to cause a headache for Red Bull. Our 3-time champ is with Nicola in the arena.
That's quite interesting, actually, Jarno, because you can't quite hear what Alex and Kai were just saying about you on commentary. But they were saying the position you're in now, in P13, you're going to give everyone a headache because you're right in the middle of the pack, and that's kind of where you're at your best.
Well, I prefer to start from pole, but yeah, I mean, we've had some good races, of course. I think this race might be chaos again, so maybe it helps us, maybe it doesn't. But I'm just happy this was the last quali on this car, on this game combination. Yeah, I knew I was lacking some pace, or maybe not even lacking pace, but just didn't have a feel for the car and consistency. So yeah, I was just understeering everywhere, and I just couldn't really get the lap together. I think in the end it might have just been enough if I got the final corner right, but again I just understeered way wide, and yeah, I just didn't have a feel for it.
I mean, when you say that you're pleased that that's the last quali in this car, is there something about this game in particular that you haven't quite clicked with, the way the car rides?
Yeah, but I had the same last year, and then I won the championship, so I don't think it matters. I mean,
You're downplaying it is what you're doing, because then you can just pull a sneaky later in the race. Is that what you're up to?
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Of course, I hope next year I've got a little bit more quali pace, because I feel like every lap I have to make up 2 tenths before I start the way I have to drive. So yeah, let's see what we can do in the race. could be quite interesting strategy-wise. Got some good opportunities with overtaking perhaps on this track compared to the track we had earlier today. So yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Well, I'm sure everyone watching, those fans watching at home, are excited to see what you've got up your sleeve for the race later on. Jarno, thank you very much. Alex and Kai, back to you.
Thank you very much, Nicola. Appreciate Jarno Opmeer talking to us after it didn't go to plan. On the upside, he's great in the races, and that's all he's got left for this season. So no more quali for him, and he will still be doing something in the middle of the pack that everyone has to pay
100%.
attention to, because his racecraft and his stint building is so good once everyone puts the fuel in the car and has that race spec simulation in the F1 Sim Racing Championship. Welcome to the final Q3 of the year, and we are ready to see who delivers when it counts. Who did you pick earlier on?
I picked Alfie Butcher.
Yeah, okay. It's, I liked our predictions. Very varied at the end of the year.
Who did you?
I went for Barry Burman.
Oof. We both have a shot.
In the mix, got to be in it to win it.
Whoa.
For our big contenders, they've looked quick, haven't they? Otis Lawrence, Ismail Fassi have looked assured so far in this qualifying out.
You can't take your eyes off the big hitters, can you? You've got your Otis Lawrence, you've got your Freddie Rasmussen, you've got your Barry Bowman, you've got your Ismail Fassi. I could just go on forever listing all 10 names here in qualifying, but there's no point doing that. Otis Lawrence is out there on the circuit. Just shy of 8 minutes remaining, so drivers are looking to get their banker laps on the board. And for Danny Beresnay, he'll be hoping to be up at the front end to help out his teammate and help out his team full stop in the championship. What can Alpine do? They don't have their head boss here with them this weekend, so they're let loose. They're let loose to do whatever they want. Well, not quite. They want to win the championship. That's exactly what everyone wants at Alpine, but it's one big family, and if they're going to get it done, they'll get it done together, as all the brake and marker boards are once again demolished at the start of quali.
Good. Traditions. I like it. Danny Beresnay heading out there. That was a big lap under pressure. That could well go a long way to securing a title for Alpine. We'll find out later on. He will hope that he is as strong in the races as his teammates said he would be. They are out there for the final time in the Sim Racing Championship in Q3. We're setting the grid in the top 10 positions. Jonas Zelderum has looked good across the course of the hour. So has Lawrence, so has Fassi. Can anyone save their best until last? You can never count out Freddie Rasmussen, who finds himself close to delivering another team's title for Red Bull. But Alpine have brought the noise this year. They've been superb with their execution at strategies of plenty of races. They've won with Otis Lawrence. Danny Beresnay was very, very strong at the Circuit of the Americas when it counted. And we find ourselves now with the laps being set at the end of this session. Ticking down. Under the hotel we go. Opmeer not happy with rotating the car through this part of the lap. We saw a lot of movement, and you compare that at this stage, look how planted that Alpine is instead. So Danny Beresnay is going to get us started. He's going to respond to Pookie's lap time, and he does so. It's Van Pookie over the line into second place. Here is Otis Lawrence, and Otis Lawrence manages to go top, and he goes top by 0.09 of a second. Freddie Rasmussen is next, and Freddie Rasmussen makes it the fastest time on the board. He's ahead of Otis Lawrence by 0.07. Bill Zilderim is a 10.5 back. Great time for Freddie Rasmussen. Here's Ismail Fassi, who's been on fire in the final rounds of the season. This final event, he has been superb. A two-time winner. If he makes it 3, we could be in for some grandstand finish, and he's 0.02 of a second away from the driver he's trying to beat to the title. Ismail Fassi over the line with a great effort as he goes into 3rd place. Barry Bowman is into 5th place, and El Zilderim is in 4th. Thomas Ronhaar, former winner around here. Let's see where he can go. He goes to 2nd place. He's in the mix, and it's Rasmussen ahead of Ronhaar after run 1.
Calm before the storm. You can't count anyone out just yet. There is a lot still left on the table, a lot of chances, a lot of opportunity for these drivers. It's the final qualifying session of the season, so you have to make it count, especially if you're one of the drivers fighting for the Constructors or the Drivers' Championship. Freddie Rasmussen up at the front end, looking a little bit far out from the driver's standings. Coming into this round, he was in contention, but now 36 points are far not within a chance of winning the Drivers' Championship, but still within a chance of finishing second if he can outscore Ismail Fassi by 19 points.
That is the question. Can he do it? Can he give himself the opportunity? Well, first runs are on the board. Freddie Rasmussen on his own in this session, knowing he has to deliver for the team and has put it on provisional pole. Something that he knows so often in his career. There's Ismail Fassi for Ferrari. He, at the moment, finds himself ready to fight in the final stages. Otis Lawrence enjoying this final qualifying session of the year. Rasmussen trying to secure pole position number 21, if you can stay there. I do think it's going to be tighter towards the end, though, with the final runs.
It's going to be tight indeed, and we're all just waiting here tentatively, waiting to see what happens. Barry Bortman, though, looks very relaxed. He's not got a worry on his mind. He'll take a sip of his water, regenerate his energy, just recuperate himself, get ready for the final run. There's no rush to get out onto the track, Barry. Do not worry about that. You've still got 3 minutes left in the session. Every single time we have the camera pan to Otis Lawrence, he has a big, cheeky grin on his face. Otis Lawrence, always with a smile on his face until the job needs to be done. That's when the game face comes on. That's when he switches to focus mode. And Danny Beresnay, he gets a fist pump there from his teammate. What can he do to help him out?
It's all smiles at the moment. The drivers have had the race earlier on. Let's check in with Danny Beresnay and hear some more team radio now for the Alpine man heading into the final stages.
Enjoy your last qualifying lap of F1 25.
Yep.
Enjoy it, man.
Great camaraderie at that team all year long. Otis Lawrence hoping it's good enough for a pole lap. And Otis Lawrence trying to join Jarno Opmeer, Freddie Rasmussen, Lucas Blakely, David Tinitzer, and Brendan Lee as a driver who can call himself the champion. Ismail Fassi stands in his way. And Fassi's looked good all the way through in terms of the pace here. He was a factor at different stages of the race last year, but he's got an actual chance this time around. In fourth are two contenders for the driver's title, separated by 0.02 of a second. Danny Beresnay trying to get on terms with his teammates' pace and take the fight to Freddie Rasmussen. He's put in a great lap. We're in our final runs of Q3. They're coming up in a few moments' time.
Really looking forward to this one. Pole sit is important, but what's more important is who's in front of who. Is it Ismail Fassi or Otis Lawrence? These two drivers, I'm sure, are going to butt heads at some point over the course of these final race. Ismail Fassi just warming up his tyres there down the home straight, doing a little bit of dancing down the straight. Why not? Get a conga line going with all the cars as they make their way down. It's a parade. It's the final time they're ever going to be qualifying on this game, as Danny Beresnay said. That was the team radio message he had to his teammate. Otis Lawrence, you'll get prepared for that final lap. He's been wished good luck from his team. He's been wished good luck from Danny Beresnay. Down the home straight, cutting the timing beam, and one more time, he heads around the Yas Marina circuit.
Okay, into turn one. Got to get safely through turn one. No invalidation this time. Listen in on the speed. Committed stuff. Down the hill we go. Heavy braking, and the left-hander ahead of us now, looking for a time good enough for a provisional pole. Also out there, we've got Freddie Rasmussen, Thomas Ronhart, the two drivers currently on the front row. That is the battle that we've got for the moment. You can see it is an improvement of 0.02 of a second. He needs to find more than 0.02 of a second. He goes to work in the middle sector right now.
Through 6, good exit out of 7 there as he gets the run all the way down the straight, dancing on the edge of his Delta. Now through the second DRS zone he goes towards 9, long sweeping left It's all about being committed. Get your foot planted down early. You don't want to wash out wide here on the exit, though. Now is the tricky technical section. You go from that long sweeper through 10, heavy braking zone, switch of directions, hit the apex, get your car planted through 11 and 12, acceleration through 14. Now it's flat through 15, one more braking zone into the final corner. Otis Lawrence has strung this together very nicely. It's a dash to the line. It's provisional pole position with 2 purple sectors to his name. How can Fassi respond? Ozzy Ildrim can't. Beresnay can't respond. But there's the Ferrari that all eyes are on right now. Rasmussen on pole for now.
Freddie Rasmussen goes over the line and he peeps Otis Lawrence by 0.02 of a second. Ismail Fassi misses out by 1,000th of a second. Unbelievable effort at the end to get ahead of his nearest rival for the title, and he's on the front row. Otis Lawrence is in P3, Barry Boromand is in 4th, then it is Ronhar, Beresnay, Pookie, Butcher, El Zildarim and Ruben Pedreno goes over the line and remains in 10th position. Freddie Rasmussen takes the final pole of the year, takes the point, and he did it by 1,000th of a second. An unbelievable standard in the final session of the qualifying season. Pole position decided with 4 drivers within 700ths of a second. And after all of that, the Ferrari man missed out by 1,000. It came down to the millisecond. It's Freddie Rasmussen and pole position number 21 in his incredible F1 sim racing career. Ronhar will be a factor. He's in 5th. Barry Boromand will be wanting to back up his performance last time out with a podium. And Ismail Fassi and Otis Lawrence separated by 8 meters off the starting line. How well is that set up for Red Bull? They needed Rasmussen to step forward so they could claim the 750,000 prize pool for winning the team's championship. That's a mighty lap on both occasions. It's got him pole.
You just couldn't write it. Pole position for Freddie Rasmussen. Otis Lawrence, it is the second row of the grid, but still set up very nicely for the race. Now it all comes down to the final 50% race around Abu Dhabi. It's all about strategy. It's all about keeping his head securely on his shoulders, keeping a calm face on as well. What can Otis Lawrence do? Well, we'll have a little bit of a break in between qualifying and the race for him to contemplate his thoughts and also go over the game plan with his team. But a lot of pressure riding on this one. Here is your results. Freddie Rasmussen taking pole position by 1,000th of a second over Ismail Fassi.
Amazing.
And Otis Lawrence and Barry Boromand. It's a Ferrari sandwich for Otis.
Well, if you want to call yourself the champion, you are seriously going to have to work for it. Otis Lawrence is in the middle of the pack there in the Ferraris ahead and behind. Then it's Ronhar. He'll be a contender. Danny Beresnay, great qualifying under pressure. P6 still gives Alpine a chance at the title. Then it's Pookie, Butcher, Ozildarim and Pedreno. What a lap, Freddie Rasmussen, to beat Fassi, who has turned up when it really mattered in the final event of the year. Joni Tormela was in 11th. There's Jake Benham in 12th. Jarno Otmir not happy with the balance and in 13th. Tamascal in 14th. And it's Longe, Hoffland, Prozen and Hardy completes the field. I love it when it's decided by a millisecond. Let's see what 1,000th of a second looks like in the company of Ismail Fassi and Freddie Rasmussen, who's taken pole and is talking to Nicola.
Do you know what's really lovely? Just before we went live, Otis Lawrence has just come over, congratulated Freddie, congratulated Ishmael. This is now all come down to this. Now, that quali was so tight. I mean, there was 1,000th in it between the two of you. How was that for you, Freddie? It's nice to speak to you at this event. It's the first time I've spoken to you.
Yeah, I choked the last sector a little bit, otherwise that was good.
That's a classic Freddie answer. Even though he's on pole, he'll still go, could have done better. But how was that for you, Ishmael?
In general, I'm happy with the lap. Maybe I messed it up a bit in the middle, but in general, it's a P2. I'm sad that it's for 1,000, but it's P2, so I'm happy. I will take it.
It's still a front row start, and everyone is now watching you and Otis. So how are you feeling ahead of the race?
I think this race, I will just take it. I will just try to enjoy it. Obviously, it's hard for me to win. I have to win. at least to make sure that I can win the championship. So it's going to be tough, but yeah, I will just make sure to enjoy the last race of the season and end the season in a high.
Well, that's in terms of the Drivers' Championship. But then when it comes down to constructors, Freddie, it's a big race for Red Bull. So talk me through how you approach this race later.
I don't know yet. We need to go and talk about it.
Oh, so you've had no time to discuss yet?
Nope.
Okay, brilliant. Right, but this is lovely to speak to you. I mean, because it's really nice to, like, we've seen Jarno go over the 1,000 points. Now I've seen Jarno smile a little bit more. I was seeing you smile earlier. This is the final race of the season. Is there anything that you would like to say to your team, to Jarno, about how you felt about this season?
Let's do that after.
We're doing it after. He needs to focus. That's what he needs to do. Can I get a smile and a high five, though? Yeah, nice. Ishmael, go and enjoy your dinner, and we'll see you at the race. Back to you in the studio.
Oh, thank you very much, Nicola. It's resorted to high fives with Freddie because he is giving nothing away about the strategy. But I tell you what, when it comes down to sheer race pace, I can't remember who suggested you might put it on pole. I forget who did that, but Ishmael Fassi realising just 1,000th of a second, he said he was happy with the lap, but to miss out on pole by 1,000th of a second, sensational stuff. What a way to round out quali for 2026. Freddie Rasmussen, that's his 18th pole, if I'm not mistaken. One of the best at doing it, and when it matters, he has delivered.
Superb from Freddie Rasmussen. Good on him. Had to carry the Red Bull expectation after Jarno Opmeer went out in Q2. We know Opmeer is going to be great in the race, so that was huge to get to the front, and even if he wasn't happy with that third sector.
Jarno said it's going to be chaos. He's predicting chaos, but obviously the deciding factor starting in 13th for what happens in the mid-pack. So it's going to be really exciting. And you've got Danny Berezny further up. He's going to be starting in P6. So that team championship, which Freddie had said we haven't spoken about it yet, so we can't discuss. But that makes it so enticing to watch this race later on.
It's going to be tricky. There's a lot of work for Jarno to do on his side to help out the team. I mean, overall, baseline, they need both cars to be in a high point scoring position for them to be fighting for the Constructors' Championship. There was 2 points between Alpine and Red Bull coming into this one, and with Berezny and with Otis being up at the sharp end and having a good qualifying session, that puts Alpine in the hot seat. That puts them in a great position to be winning this Constructors' Championship. Never mind, Drivers' Championship aside, in Q1, Thomas Ronner having a nice little bit of fun as he's hopping over the curbs and having a bit of a drift as well. Why not? It's your final qualifying session. You have to enjoy it.
Exactly. Goodbye breakboards. They're gone. They're gone. Forget about it. Joni Tormala, a nice moment for him, making it into Q2. Didn't make it any further than Q2. He'll be starting in P11. And Aston Martin, the Ruben Pedreno, putting it through into Q3 again. What a season he's had. Haas drivers in Q3, Alex Jakes. Commiserations. It's sad for me because I was going to punch the air.
Yeah, I was looking forward to you running in and shouting at that point. Didn't happen, never mind.
But shock for Nico Longate.
Yeah, because he's so good over one lap, time and time again. And came into this final event third in the points as well. That was Jarno Opmeer going out and searching for answers he never got in quali spec for this game.
Yeah, looking forward to the new DLC coming out on June 3rd. He's looking forward to that. And yet he said, which I thought was really interesting, I won the championship last year. Wasn't comfortable fully with it. But there you go. It came down to the wire between Otis, Lawrence, then Ishmael Fassi setting a fast time. But Freddie Rasmussen, when it matters, delivering fist bump to his teammate and the rest of the gang at Red Bull. Obviously now it's all about that strategy. As we go in to the race later on around Yas Marina, Abu Dhabi, really looking forward to it. And there it is, the classification. Once again for you. So much to do for the drivers. And as you mentioned, Kai, sort of in between the Ferrari sandwich there, Otis has experienced that earlier on in the day. I don't think he's looking forward to that one again.
Well, it wasn't a comfortable position last time, was it, Alex? He has a lot of work to do.
I didn't order this again.
This wasn't on the dinner menu.
Yeah, that's the nature of winning titles. It's not straightforward. It's not autocomplete. You've got to have to work against a great pairing. Barry's come back and he's transformed Ferrari's season. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, and in terms of that first corner of the race, front row, Fassi, Rasmussen, who's going to send it? I mean, who's going to be brave?
There's not a lot of distance between the front row and turn one, so I'd be amazed if anything happened there. And as soon as I said that, I was like, don't put the curse on it. So hopefully they all cleanly get through. I want to see an all-out scrap. To take this title and decide the final victory of the year.
All right, well, we're going to rest up, get ready to come back to go racing for the final time. I feel a little bit sad now. We're going to be crowning a champion.
Yeah.
I am getting nostalgic. I've seen what's going to happen for the celebrations.
It's unbelievable.
Later. There's all sorts of pyrotechnics. It's going to be brilliant. Kai Bicini, Alex Jakes, thank you very much. To Nicola Hume as well for asking the difficult questions and getting a high five off Freddie Rasmussen. Not easy to do. However, I've mentioned it a few times. June the 3rd, the DLC, that's when it's dropping. Take a look at this.
Cars, new teams, new rules. Formula One is back.
The terrain's getting heavier, so you have no grip.
Oh no! Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Madrid. The Madrid. This will be spectacular. This is wheel-to-wheel combat, as one move can decide it all. Hamilton's hunting, the gap is closing. It's going right to the line. Get in there, let's go, boys.
The heart of a champion, the music there. That's what's going to be happening a little bit later on. Love the game. Since 2017, being a part of F1 sim racing each year just gets bigger and better. And to go racing around Gran Premio de España, that is going to be the icing on the cake. Looking forward to that, June the 3rd. In the meantime, we're going to have a break, come back. And like I just mentioned, we'll be crowning a champion. You do not want to miss it as we go racing around Abu Dhabi. See you in a bit.